Hi everybody, welcome to your 4 to 5. Eric Chilton here with Lauren Coleman and Tanya Rivera.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching News 2. We're also on Fire Stick, Roku, and the News 2 app.
It's Friday.
Yeah, it is Friday. We got a whole lot of stuff to talk about, right? We're going to be talking Fun Fourth because that's coming up. Flights to space. Are we ready for that?
Ready?
Okay. And more on this last half hour, but the biggest story of the day, of course, is student loans. All right, so let's start with that. Protesters made their feelings known outside the Supreme Court on Friday after the justices threw out President Biden's student debt relief program that forgives up to $20,000 in student loans for millions of Americans.
Biden first announced the plan last year. Since then, it has faced numerous legal challenges. The case was brought by Republican Attorney General, who argued the plan exceeded the president's authority. The administration had argued it had the power to act during national emergencies, such as the coronavirus pandemic.
So WFMY News 2's Amber Lake spoke with an expert who explains why the justices shot down that program.
The $400 billion forgiveness plan was stopped today with just 2 months to go until the pause on student loan repayments is set to expire and interest on those loans kicks back in. The Supreme Court justices ruled that the HEROES Act does not authorize the relief plan. They said while the HEROES Act allowed the government to authorize pandemic relief, it was unconstitutional in the case of student loan forgiveness.
The HEROES Act contains just a single sentence, but boy, is it an important sentence. And essentially what it says is that it gives, in the situation of a national emergency, which COVID was, that the President of the United States has the authority to take action that is contrary to federal law.
The program pushed for eligible borrowers to have up to $20,000 of their student debt canceled, $10,000 erased for most making less than $125,000 a year, and households earning less than $250,000 a year. He also proposed the cancellation of an additional $10,000 for Pell Grant recipients. President Joe Biden said today the fight isn't over for student loan relief, and he'll look at other options. He's getting ready to talk any second now. As for Republicans, many of which agreed with the conservative Supreme Court justices, they say the relief plan was unfair to those who paid off loans already or who chose not to go to college because of the cost. They celebrated today's decision. Again, the pause on student loan interest ends September 1st, with payments picking back up in October.
All right, breaking news now as President Joe Biden is speaking on the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the student loan forgiveness program. Let's listen in.
Public service loan forgiveness program. So the borrowers who got into public service, such as school teachers, police officers, social workers, service members, they actually got the debt relief they were entitled to under the law. Before I came to office, only 7,000 people had benefited from that program. Today, over 600,000 borrowers have received relief from that program. And it's still available. So many more people can be helped. And I encourage you to apply if you haven't already. You're still eligible. Go to studentaid.gov. It matters. Third, my administration improved the program from the Obama-Biden administration on income-driven repayment plan. That's what it was referred to as. Back then, we set a limit. Student borrowers would pay no more than 10% of their disposable income to pay back their debt in any one time. My administration is going to reduce that to 5%. It's now the most generous repayment program ever. No one with an undergraduate loan today or in the future, whether from a community college or a four-year college, will have to pay more than 5% of their disposable income to repay their loan. And that's income after you pay for the necessities like housing, food, and the like. Typical borrower is going to save about $1,000 a year. And if you keep up payments for 20 years without missing them, your total debt is forgiven after 20 years. That's what the program was before, but we've just reduced it to 5%. In addition to that, last year I announced my student debt relief plan, a plan that was on the verge of providing more than 40 million Americans with real debt relief, up to $10,000 for many borrowers and up to $20,000 for those who had gotten a Pell Grant. Nearly 90% of the relief would have gone to borrowers, 90% of it, making less than $75,000 a year. And no one making over $125,000 a year would qualify. This program was all set to begin. The website had been set up, the applications had been simplified so that it took less than 5 minutes to complete. Notice had been sent out, to people about the relief they were eligible for. 16 million people. 16 million people had already been approved. The money was literally about to go out the door. And then Republican elected officials and special interests stepped in. They said, no, no. Literally snatching from the hands of millions of Americans thousands of dollars in student debt relief that was about to change their lives. You know, these Republican officials just couldn't bear the thought of providing relief for working class, middle class Americans. Republican state officials sued my administration, attempting to block relief, including millions of their own constituents. Republicans in Congress voted to overturn the plan. I think every one. I don't think I had any Republican votes for this plan. At the same time, think about this. We all supported the Paycheck Protection Program. Remember PPP? You know, which was designed to help business owners who lost money because of the pandemic. It was a worthy program. But let's be clear. Some of the same elected Republicans, members of Congress who strongly opposed giving relief to students, got hundreds of thousands of dollars themselves in relief, members of Congress, because of the businesses they were able to keep open. Several members of Congress got over $1 million. All those loans were forgiven. You know how much that program cost? $760 billion. My program's too expensive. $360 billion more than I proposed in my student debt relief program. I was trying to provide students with $10,000 to $20,000 in relief. By comparison, the average amount forgiven in the PPP, the pandemic loan program, average amount forgiven was $70,000. Now a kid making $60,000, trying to pay back his bills, asking for $10,000 in relief. Come on, the hypocrisy is stunning. You can't help a family making 75 grand a year, but you can help a millionaire and you have your debt forgiven. My plan would not only have been life-changing for millions of Americans, it would have been good for the American economy, freeing millions of Americans from the crushing burden of student debt. More homes would have been bought, more businesses would have been started, more couples would have had the confidence to start a family. Millions of people would have felt they could get on with their lives. These Republicans blocked all that. Now, in addition to the hypocrisy, some of these Republicans in Congress are shamelessly pushing to advance a bill in the coming weeks that gives hundreds of billions of dollars in tax breaks and handouts to the wealthiest Americans. They still haven't given up on making permanent a $2 trillion tax cut that they never paid for. Never paid for. $2 trillion. So let me be clear. For Republicans in Congress, it's not about reducing the deficit. It's not about fairness in forgiving loans. It's only about forgiving loans they have to pay. Today, the Supreme Court sided with them. I believe the court's decision to strike down my student debt relief program was a mistake, was wrong. I'm not going to stop fighting to deliver borrowers what they need, particularly those at the bottom end of the economic scale. So we need to find a new way, and we're moving as fast as we can. First, I'm announcing today a new path consistent with today's ruling to provide student debt relief to as many borrowers as possible, as quickly as possible. We will ground this new approach in a different law than my original plan, the so-called Higher Education Act. That will allow Secretary Cardona, who's with me today, to compromise, waive, or release loans under certain circumstances. This new path is legally sound. It's going to take longer, but in my view, it's the best path that remains to providing for as many borrowers as possible with debt relief. I've directed my team to move as quickly as possible under the law. Just moments ago, Secretary Cardona took the first step to initiate that new approach. We're not going to waste any time on this. We're getting moving on it. It's going to take longer, but we're getting at it right away. Second, we know what many borrowers will need to make their hard choices, which their budgets are being strained now when they start to repay their monthly loan payments this fall. You know, we know that figuring out how to pay these added expenses can take time for borrowers, and they might miss payments at the front end as they get back into repayment. Normally, this could lead borrowers to fall into delinquency and default. But without their it will hurt their financial security, and that's not good for them or the economy. That's why we're creating a temporary 12-month, what we're calling on-ramp repayment program. And now, This is not the same as a student loan pause. It's been in effect for the past 3 years. Monthly payments will be due. Bills will not go out and interest will be accruing. And during this period, if you can pay your monthly bills, you should. But if you cannot, if you miss payments, this on-ramp will temporarily remove the threat of default or having your credit harmed, which can hurt borrowers for years to come. Because the Department of Education won't refer borrowers. And the reason why that will work, they won't refer borrowers who miss payments to credit agencies for 12 months to give them a chance to get back up and running. Let me close with this. Our Republican officials say student loan relief is a giveaway to the privileged. You hear that loud now, the privileged. I love the concern for the privileged. But I know who student loan borrowers are in this country. So do all you. With a couple putting off having a child until they can find their way to deal with their debt. That's who they are. They're young putting off buying their first home so they can get out from under student loans. Hope on the horizon, thanks to relief that I planned last year. Today's court decision snatches it away from them. I get it. I get it. I hear this. And I'm concerned about it. But today's decision has closed one path. Now we're going to pursue another. I'm never going to stop fighting for you. We'll use every tool at our disposal to get you the student debt relief you need and reach your dreams. It's good for the economy. It's good for the country. It's going to be good for you. Thank you very, very much for listening. We're going to get this done, God willing. Thank you.
Mr. President, why did you give millions of borrowers false hope? You've doubted your own authority here in the past.
I didn't give any false hope. The question was whether or not I would do even more than was requested. What I did, I thought was appropriate and was able to be done and would get done. I didn't give borrowers false hope, but the Republicans snatched away the hope that they were given, and it's real hope. Thank you.
Mr. President, will you cancel student debt?
Your authority. Did you overstep your authority?
I think the court misinterpreted the Constitution.
Mr. President, do you admit failure in Afghanistan?
All right, so you just finished listening to President Biden address the student loan forgiveness program being struck down. He talked about a way that he would continue to support the nation's students. So he gave two big things, and the first one is called the Higher Education Act. And the Higher Education Act would waive or would compromise certain amounts of loans. Now, we don't have any details on what that encompasses or who is going to be able to have their loans waived or compromised, maybe, put down some. So that's going to be coming in the next couple of days or so. And the next thing that he said was a temporary 12-month on-ramp repayment program. And this is to help ensure that if you miss a payment or you're struggling to make your payments, that it removes the threat of default with your loan. So those are the two big things that he put out there to address what the Supreme Court struck down today. Again, these details, they're just coming out. So do we know exactly how the on-ramp process is going to work or how the Higher Education Act is going to waive or compromise those loans? We don't know that as of yet, but we imagine that those details are going to be coming out within the next couple of days. All right, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with you on the 4 to 5. Starting tomorrow in North Carolina, most abortions after 12 weeks of pregnancy will be illegal. The new law came into question just this week, due to a lawsuit from Planned Parenthood and a Duke Health OBGYN. They claimed that a separate bill concerning maternal health made things unclear regarding abortion restrictions. Well, today, a federal judge settled that lawsuit and granted a 2-week temporary restraining order on a portion of the bill to be reworked, but it allows the original law to stand. It means that starting tomorrow, most abortions after 12 weeks will be illegal.
A Triad man accused of a triple murder made his first court appearance today. A judge read Thomas Gilley his charges, then sent him back to his cell. He is charged with 2 murders and 2 attempted murders, and more charges are expected in Greensboro. Investigators say Gilley shot and killed his father in Greensboro before shooting 3 people at a Kernersville apartment. He is currently in jail without bond.
A bill creating a new tool for school districts and charter schools across the state is on the governor's desk. Now, if signed, House Bill 605 would create threat assessment teams at all schools. People specializing in counseling, instruction, administration, and law enforcement would be on these teams. Their job would be to assess any threat towards the school or a student. The new initiative would begin in the 2024-2025 school year.
The long-awaited Lowe's outlet is finally open. The store is in the Trader Joe's shopping center in Greensboro. It celebrated its grand opening this morning. It sells appliances, patio furniture, grills, and more. They have new and used items there at up to 70% off. This is the 11th Lowe's outlet across the country and the first here in North Carolina.
A popular chain could soon call the Triad home. Buc-ee's wants to come to Mebane in the coming years. The city says the chain wants to open a store on I-40 on Trollingswood and Hawfields Road. Let me get that right. The chain needs approval from the city on several things before moving forward with any plans. It would be the first Buc-ee's in North Carolina. The city development director says it reinforces the future of Mebane.
We're a growing community and located in between Greensboro and Durham and Raleigh, so we know there is a lot of traffic on the interstate, and it's exciting to think of Buc-ee's bringing more people to know about our positively charming city.
Buc-ee's nearly came to Orange County 2 years ago, but the company decided it just was not the right fit when they got some pushback from folks in the area. Now, we asked you on Facebook, what restaurant or store chain would you like to see in the Triad? You had all kinds of things to say. Mandy said small town Madison would never, however, a Sheetz and a Freddy's would be really nice. I love the Freddy sauce. All right, Candy says I'd love to have a Taco Time back. Best fast food Mexican around. Margaret posted, I'd love to see a new grocery store like Publix or Harris Teeter in Asheboro. Robin said, I don't know if it's a chain or not, but I'd like to see a Jekyll and Hyde Tap House Grill come to Greensboro. There is one in Matthews, and it's a really cool place to eat and great food. And Dawn says a Friendly's restaurant on Friendly Avenue would be great. I think she's thinking about the ice cream, right?
That's exactly right. Freddy's sauce. That's I was just.
I love the Freddy's sauce.
Freddy's, is that a restaurant or?
Yeah, and it's like smash burgers.
Okay.
And then they have custard and stuff as well. And so the Freddy's sauce is just like a mix. I don't even know what you would say. It's like a Thousand Island-y kind of something, and you dip your fries in it.
So good.
And they sell it by the bottle, which I have bought. I'm so sad to say.
I'll have to put that one on my list. I haven't had Freddy's, but Wegmans, that would be the chain that I would want.
Oh yeah, you and my
It
wife.
is the greatest grocery store. It's an experience when you go in there. They got the food court. You can even do wine tastings. The bakery is huge.
Right.
I love Wegmans.
My wife from Buffalo. Wegmans is huge there. So when
Tim Buckley's like that too.
Yes, because they're from the same general area. And whenever one opened in Cary, my wife drove there to grocery shop one day just to go to one.
Right, just to feel like home, right?
That's right. That's exactly right.
Well, you
Very
can
cool.
join in. I've got it on my Facebook page. I put it on Twitter as well. People are just like lighting it up of all the things that they like. You can join in. We'll see you in a minute.
Let's talk about our air quality for a minute, because yesterday, if you remember, we were in the unhealthy realm. Now today, we've dropped down one category there to just unhealthy for sensitive groups. So basically, those at risk or some people with respiratory issues just need to take it easy, limit your time outside. Definitely don't exert in the outside. So we're waiting for this to drop down a bit, and we think it will. You can still, even with our Skycam this morning, you can still see that haze on the horizon. Whoop, and a bee. But other than that, but it starts to look a little bit better. Our winds are starting to cooperate a little bit, and I think by tomorrow we'll be able to bring that down to probably the moderate category. Here's what it looks like with the futurecast. If we put this in motion, this goes into the overnight tonight. That's tomorrow morning at about 5 a.m. Notice the blue, which is a lot less in the way of smoke. Once you get into that green and yellow, that's when you're seeing more of that in the atmosphere, the smoke. But it looks better on Saturday morning, and then look at that. Thank goodness. By Saturday afternoon, it looks a lot better. That continues on into Sunday, and late Sunday night, we're almost all the way out of it. So it should get better as we go into the overnight Saturday, and really into Saturday afternoon as well. Temperatures, however, will do just the opposite. We will spike this weekend with Sunday's high at 92 will be the hottest day we've seen in a while. And Saturday, if we get our actual high temperature, we'll see our first 90 degree of the season. Lows tonight at 68, highs tomorrow 88, and here's your long range outlook. That 92 on Sunday, yeah, that's getting up there. 91 on Monday, 90 for the fun 4th, and we've got a 40% chance of late day showers. Now remember, that doesn't mean we have rain every day. That means we have an isolated pop-up shower or storm. You might get one, you might not. You know how summer goes here. But that 88 on Saturday, if we delay getting that first 90 degree until Sunday, we still see it Saturday, but if we get it on Sunday, that will tie for 3rd place of the longest we've ever had to wait for a 90 degree day in the Triad. And next week, we're back to normal in the upper 80s.
People want things to be faster, more efficient, and they want their devices to be a part of every aspect other lives, and this includes taking care of pets. According to Secure Data Recovery, nearly half of pet owners are willing to risk privacy in order to experience the benefits of pet tech. 68% say pet tech is more for themselves than for their pet, and a majority of the respondents say their only concern is the cost. So I asked you all on Facebook, what fictional invention do you wish was real and why? We got a load of answers. Jack Bain says, time travel. I want to go back and ride a dinosaur. Adam wrote, universal drive, the ability to switch a car from left-hand drive to right-hand drive at the push of a button. Rhonda Michael said, a magic wand. The possibilities would be endless, like abracadabra, a clean house. I think we'd all like that one. Woodrow Scott said teleporting machine and cancer cure, and an individual device that allows you to fly. And then Cordelia Owusu said that money grows on trees. I would love to plant one of those in my backyard.
Tree? Yep, that would be great. You know, a lot of those, like I know when I was a kid, and I would watch like the old cartoons, the Jetsons and all that. I so badly wanted a little car that you could fly around and drive in. But my little girl asked me about that the other day. She goes, when do you think we'll have flying cars? I said, well, they know how to invent them, but you can't regulate that in the
you'd have to invent the whole traffic system in the sky and then train people to use it. But I think it could happen. Give it another 100 years or so.
Those jetpacks, they have those, you know.
Absolutely. For me, I said teleportation because I hate traveling long distances, but I love to travel. I travel a lot, so that would be mine. And then also, I don't know if you remember the Disney movie from like 2000. It was called Smart House. And it was basically a family that won a tech house, a smart house that could do everything. If you said clean the house, she would clean the house. Make me a smoothie, she would make a smoothie.
That's perfect.
But this was like, you know, 23 years ago. So with all the advancements we have now,
the AI stuff.
And the AI stuff.
So if I could have
this could be possible.
If I could have a robot maid or butler, you bet I'd have that in a heartbeat. They clean and cook.
I think it's coming. We already have the vacuums that move on their own. So
it won't look like we think they're going to look. But yeah, interesting. All right, we're coming back. Stay right there.
She turned into a person at the end of the movie.
Yeah, she became like a hologram.
Yeah.
And turned evil. It's a good movie. Mic check. Mic check, Brad. Can you hear me? You don't know anything about Smart House, do you, Grandpa? No, you don't.
Get it Friday.
Every
We have a
time.
club on Friday, right?
Every time we play this music, as soon as it comes up, Lauren starts out. Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Eric, Lauren, Tanya, Jalen's over there. We got a lot coming up for you here. Oh, I guess we'll talk about weather first. Should we do that?
We want to know about the weather because it's a holiday weekend. Although I think to myself, some people are going to get like 4 or 5 days off with this holiday weekend.
Yep, or the whole week.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Right, because Saturday, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday, and then maybe you don't go to work on Wednesday because you were out late seeing fireworks on Tuesday.
It could happen.
So we
Has
need to
been
know what's
known to
going on.
happen. Yes. All right, well, let's talk about it. We told you about the air quality a short time ago. So that situation is getting better. Not today necessarily. We're still in the orange, which means unhealthy for sensitive groups, but tomorrow we think we go to a moderate, which is the yellow color. It just means don't exert outside for long periods of time. And usually once you go to moderate, it's really only for people that have those issues ahead of time anyway. So let's look at the temperatures. 87 is a little bit warmer than the last couple of days. Greensboro 87, we have 88 in High Point, 83 in Asheboro, and 87 in Lexington. A little warm, but that's about where we are tomorrow as well. Lows tonight at 68. Partly cloudy skies, an isolated storm. We're going to show you the radar because we're already seeing some of that. And then partly cloudy tomorrow, the high temperature 88. There's a 40% chance of late day scattered showers and thunderstorms. We're seeing this on the radar right now, mostly in the southern Piedmont. We've had a little bit in Guilford County, and it moves through Lexington, now heading into Asheboro. And it's almost like a direct line up and down north to south on Interstate 73. So if you have to be there, checking for watches or warnings, we have neither right now. It's just some heavy rain and some lightning in here. We're just not seeing heavy enough thunderstorms to see hail, but a lot of that near the Asheboro area. Now, when we look at our long-range forecast, that's kind of what we're going to see, right? It's summer in the Piedmont, and that's exactly what we see every day, just an isolated pop-up shower or storm almost every day, 40% chance. We'll keep that across the board all 7 days. 88 for tomorrow. Sunday's the hottest day of the week as we go to 92. Then we see 91 on Monday and 90 for the 4th, and we're back to the upper 80s. That's normal for us, by the way. That'll be for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, about 88 to 89 degrees, normal high temperatures, and overnight lows are pretty mild. They'll be in the low 70s.
It's summer, which means storms can pop up at any time. Make sure you download the free WFMY News 2 app to stay updated. There you will find the latest weather alerts, radar, and the 7-day forecast.
Well, President Biden says the fight is not over after the Supreme Court tossed out his student loan forgiveness plan, which would have wiped out nearly $500 billion in debt for millions of Americans. The court's conservative majority also dealt a blow to gay rights in another ruling. Willie James Inman has the latest from outside the Supreme Court.
No justice! No peace! Advocates for student debt relief marched from the Supreme Court to the White House following the court's ruling against President Biden's plan to forgive up to $20,000 in student loans for millions of Americans.
Student debt cancellation is legal and it is just, no matter what the Supreme Court says.
The administration had argued it had the power under a 2003 federal law to forgive the loans during national emergencies such as the coronavirus pandemic. But in the 6-3 decision by the court's conservative majority, Chief Justice Roberts wrote that the act allows the Secretary of Education to waive or modify existing provisions, not to rewrite that statute from the ground up. Critics of the plan held the decision.
My heart goes out to people who are really hoping to have that relief. I have student loans. I certainly would have benefited. But hey, at the end of the day, let's get Congress, if that's what we want. Let's talk to our congressmen.
In another major decision, the court's conservative majority sided with a Christian website designer who said she didn't want to create wedding websites for same-sex couples because of her religious beliefs. The justices ruled in favor of Lori Smith, who argued that her free speech rights were violated by a Colorado law prohibiting businesses open to the public from refusing service because of sexual orientation.
This decision is not what our Constitution, what our democratic republic stands for, which is founded on the promise of equal justice for all.
It is the latest Supreme Court win for religious rights.
There was another ruling on religious rights on Thursday in the court, a case involving a Christian postal worker. They decided unanimously that employees who ask for religious accommodations should have their requests honored unless the accommodations result in substantial increased costs to the business.
The High Point Hush Puppies are a collegiate summer baseball team that provides opportunities for players to get some extra work after their college season wraps up. But as WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey found out, the star of the show has his own uniform, but he's not technically on the roster.
Yeah, John Booth may never get an at-bat or record an out for the High Point Hush Puppies, but that doesn't mean he's not a massive part of the team, serving as the team's official bat boy all summer long.
Don't you do it, don't you do it. Snail! Yeah.
He's just a bundle of joy, man. There's nothing that gets him down. He's always happy. He's just a great guy to be around. He always gets the crowd fired up no matter what. Just fun, man. Just great.
John Booth is more excited to be a part of the High Point Hush Puppies than anyone else on their roster.
We're actually doing something that's bigger than just baseball. You know, a lot of teams don't understand those dynamics, and this happens to be a team and a great group of players, coaches that understand. You know, when you see John, you know that it's just a good day.
Booth, who's diagnosed with Down syndrome at a very young age, serves as the team's bat boy and morale booster.
I've learned more from him than he's probably ever learned from me. How to manage the game and not to be so uptight sometimes, because again, it's like I said, you know, he's always happy and he's always enjoying himself. He's always wanting approval also. Just like any player would.
No matter what the scoreboard says, John Booth keeps the crowd energized and engaged.
He always goes out to the home plate and just gets the crowd going, even if they're silent, man. It's just something you need in a dugout.
Whether they win or lose, the Hush Puppies understand that baseball is just a game and loving life is the true home run.
From the kids' perspective, they need to understand that there's greater things in this world outside of the game of baseball. Sometimes there's life that people have to deal with, and I think when you spend enough time around John Booth, you learn to love life a whole lot more, and I hope that's what they take away from it, because that's what I'm taking away from it.
Hey, Mama Day!
And if you want to see John and the Hush Puppies in action, your next opportunity is actually at 6:30 this evening at the High Point Athletic Complex.
I bet having him there all the time is just such good morale for the team, as you said, whether they win or lose. It's just all about the game, and I think he brings that as a reminder to the team.
I know, I saw him, you know, giving somebody a pat on the back, like, you didn't do so great, but you know what, dude, you're my best, you're my favorite, right? You just need that.
Yeah.
He's just a ball of energy. He keeps things loose. He keeps things lively. He brings fun and joy to the park every day, and he's probably the most appreciative person to be out there, and so it kind of really rubs off on the guys. No matter if you go 0 for 3 or 3 for 3, you know, you're gonna have a great day if you're hanging out with John.
For sure.
Absolutely.
I know. Love it.
Great story.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back.
Can you hear me? There we go. Okay, perfect. I am on. Can you hear me? Hello. How now, brown cow? How now, brown cow? I'm putting it on so you hear a little muffle probably.
You know, many people think that you have to travel to like New York City or LA or even Atlanta to be part of a production, but Triad filmmakers are trying to just debunk that myth.
WFMY News 2's Manning Frank sat down with a local filmmaker to talk about his web series set in Winston-Salem.
We're back in the apartment, but we go down here to the end and we're shooting down in Old Salem area, you know, for a whole nother scene that has a complete different look and feel to it.
Winston-Salem-based filmmaker Zach Fox has lived in the Triad his whole life and has been making independent films since 2015.
I'm so excited for you.
Now he's trying something a little different.
I've been through, you know, breakups. My friends have been through breakups. And really got thinking about let's explore platonic relationships because, you know, you break up with someone, your platonic best friend's coming over and having drinks with you and making you feel better.
During the pandemic, he wrote an indie web series aptly called Gin and Platonic.
I'll be getting married.
Lame.
Don't knock it till you've tried it.
You haven't tried it yet either.
My producer, Elizabeth Caddy, and I were having lunch and we're trying to talk about projects. And I'm like, well, here's 3 episodes of this web series. Let's, you know, take a look at this and just let me know what you think. And she read it and just simply said, oh, we're doing this.
This past March, over the span of 4 days, Fox and Gin and Platonic's cast and crew filmed across Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem is a great place to film. That's what we really came to realize because we were able to find apartments, find our location for the restaurant, location for our main leads, you know, employment, all within like 3 blocks of each other.
While Winston-Salem was always going to be a place to film, it wasn't until filming itself that Fox decided to let Winston be Winston.
When we started filming, we weren't sure where we were going to actually set the story. You know, we're kind of thinking, oh, it might be Atlanta or maybe even Charlotte or something, but Winston became such a character when we were filming downtown. The buildings were, you know, giving us these gorgeous reflections, like right here you can see. And it's like, no, let's just set this in Winston.
Fox hopes other productions, big and small, can take note and put Winston-Salem on their radar.
I strongly believe that, you know, if you're a filmmaker and you shoot something in our area, that helps me as a filmmaker, you know, shoot my next project. You know, as long as we treat the venues with respect and, you know, we make the town look good, it only helps.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love that Winston-Salem gets to be the star as well.
Oh, yeah, and I love that. I know Zach. I met him during River Run. It's good to make connections whenever you're out in the community, and I heard what he was doing, and I was like, oh, I have to hear this, because not only is it a clever title, get it, Gin and Platonic,
Yes.
but also because of how the progression of it became, the web series became. They only have 3 now. They are hoping to 12, but they'll see the response for these 3. It's a nice contained story, but they want to do more, hopefully. But I'm excited to see how Winston is utilized in this.
I think it's cool because the city is known for art and innovation, and for them to be able to take part in something like this is huge.
Oh, 100%. And I'm not sure about y'all. I could enjoy a good web series right there if it was like turned on. It's only 12 minutes long each episode.
Oh, that's
so
not
it's
bad.
Too much.
You could probably get through all of them.
And then it makes me think I want to check off all the places that I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that place. I know that place.
Exactly.
Yes.
They mentioned the Hotel Indigo. You actually had some of the buildings in there as well too. But also, it's not until next week, so look for it next week for the first week in July for its release. So a little sneak preview.
Gin and Platonic.
Gin and
Looking
Platonic.
forward to it. All right, folks, we'll be right back. Stick with us.
Get ready to celebrate the 4th of July with WFMY News 2. The Fun 4th Festival in downtown Greensboro is back, and we're bringing this. That's right. It is the Treat Trailer. Yeah. And we're going to have fun treats, as in like frozen treats, as in Fun Pops. So you'll want to come and get that. The festival will have a climbing wall as well and water play areas for kids. Elm Street will be packed for sure, so make sure you stop by when you see this treat trailer and say hello.
Now, don't miss this. In celebration of the 4th of July, the Arts Council of Winston-Salem and Forsyth County is holding a free concert this Sunday evening at Triad Park. Taking center stage for the America the Beautiful concert is Nia Franklin. She is an American composer and Miss America 2019. As a Winston-Salem native, she says she's excited to share her talents with the Triad.
I've had the opportunity to do a lot of traveling internationally and of course around the United States. And I've learned so much about just the way people express themselves through music. And I've been able to really channel all the different types of music, all the different genres that I love into one place with my shows. That's something that I feel so blessed to be able to do, because I know so many musicians sometimes may feel like they're put in this box.
The concert will cover a wide range of styles, including R&B, jazz, classical, and gospel. Franklin will also share some of the music she performed as she traveled the world as Miss America.
I definitely wanted to share some of the songs that I performed while I was Miss America, a few of those, but also some of the music that I loved before I even got into pageants, and a lot of the music that I'm focusing on now as a full-time composer, as someone that's working with different ensembles all over the world. And so just kind of showing that that was a pit stop on my journey, but now I'm a full-time musician. And I've always wanted to be a musician. A lot of people don't know that pageants for me, that was just something that kind of came along, and I'm so grateful for that on my journey. But there's a journey ahead of me as well.
The America the Beautiful concert is a part of the 8th annual Parks Concert Series presented by the Forsyth County Government and Arts Council. Now, the Camel City Jazz Orchestra Quartet will also perform Sunday night. Festivities kick up at 5 p.m. this Sunday, and then there's going to be vendors, food trucks, beverages available for purchase.
I saw this in my Instagram feed, but I didn't know that she was going to be there.
She is going to be taking center stage, and she's so talented. She does all types of music. You could hear some of it underneath the VO, and so this is just a great platform for her to share with her community how she's developed as an artist outside of what we've seen her do in the pageant.
I mean, when you listed jazz and R&B and the classical, but then it sounded like she was almost singing opera.
Yeah,
and I thought, wow, that's a range, you know, big range.
And then we get to celebrate her because, I mean, she is hometown, right?
Hometown. She got her master's from University of North Carolina School of the Arts, so that's really great. And then just the concert series is a great thing. You can go out there with a family, you can bring your chair, your blanket, there's food out there, have a good time.
Outdoor music.
Enjoy the weekend.
That's right. We love that. All right, let's talk about forecast and see what's happening with the temperatures, because we've been talking about 90-degree days, haven't we? A lot lately. And yeah, we'll finally get one, it looks like. Maybe not today and maybe not tomorrow, but now we've delayed it to Sunday, but it'll come back with a vengeance. 92 on Sunday. Yeah, we're going to get up there. 87 right now in Greensboro and Winston-Salem. Burlington at 86. They have hit 90 at RDU at the airport there in Raleigh-Durham. 87 in Lexington and 90 in Troy. We see a couple of showers and thunderstorms moving through the southern Piedmont right now. I'll show you that on the radar in a minute. After that leaves us, and that may happen in the next hour or two, we'll see that start to die out a little bit, and we'll drop down to the upper 60s. Here's what it looks like with the radar now, and it's mostly Randolph County and Montgomery County with a little bit in Guilford County. No watches or warnings, but let's go ahead and zoom into a couple of these. You see a cell just south of Burlington along I-40, another one in eastern parts of Greensboro moving toward the Sedalia and Whitsett area and Gibsonville, but this is really the heaviest thunderstorm that we see now, and it's approaching Asheboro. So Randleman down to Asheboro right along I-73, that's where we're seeing a lot of that activity. On the broader picture here, that should be about it for tonight. Once this dies out, you may get an isolated shower in the late night period, but for the most part, this will probably be it. High pressure, two of them actually, one to the Gulf, one to our north, and the one in the Gulf will dominate our forecast over the next couple of days. As that drifts to the east, it brings in the heat with it, and that's why we see those high temperatures going up to this after 88 tomorrow. And by the way, every day, summertime forecast, right? 40% chance of late day pop-up storms or showers. And that's Saturday through Friday. 92 on Sunday, hottest day of the week. 91 on Monday. On those 2 days, the heat index could reach up to about 98 or 99. So that's what it will feel like. And the fun 4th, at least we're down to 90 by then. 89 and 89 for Wednesday and Thursday. And we'll cool back down to 88, which is our normal high temperature this time of the year, by Friday of next week.
It just kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, mic check from the wood shop. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Hey, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together.
Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, another big decision by the U.S.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, mic check, mic.
Our newsroom recently went through quite the renovation. We didn't add anything. Instead, we removed things. They were the plexiglass dividers between all of the desks. They'd been up since the summer of 2020 during the height of the pandemic. Over the past few days, several of us worked to take them all down. You might be wondering, doesn't the station have someone else who can take them down? Well, of course we do, but I really wanted to be a part of the process, along with Amanda Ferguson and Team Buckley. It's strange to say, but there was something therapeutic about taking them down. Another piece of the pandemic gone. Another chapter closed. You should have seen the looks on some of our co-workers' faces when they walked into the newsroom. Keep in mind, the boards have been up for 3 years. Many of our employees have never seen the newsroom without them. It'll take some time getting used to, but I'm so happy we've turned another page in getting life back to normal. That's just my 2 cents, and your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts right now.
Another big decision came down from the Supreme Court today. The conservative leading court struck down President Joe Biden's $400 billion student loan forgiveness program, impacting millions of Americans.
Student loan forgiveness was a